He hasn't put it down.
Really good. Alright, Maddie said I had to read this book, and I started this morning, and I'm already halfway through. The only reason I'm putting the book down is because it's dinner time, and Maddie said to put the book down because we're gonna eat. It's so good! Thanks, babe. While I was reading, Maddie made dish. It's very good. Oh, I'm so excited. So good. I should wait for you to come out. Bilge cheese. The winds have pretty much vanished. But the good part of that means that I don't really have to pay attention to our direction. I can just read. Every once in a while there's a wave and it like splashes in the water on the stern and makes some bubbles, and then we can see that we are not really moving anywhere. That's the thing, when you don't have an engine and then the wind goes away, you sit. And we sat, how long? Like maybe a couple minutes? Maybe a half hour? And now the wind's back. Yeah, like a half hour. Now we're sailing again. We honestly just sat around all day. Today when there was no wind and we were just sitting there going absolutely nowhere, we didn't really lose any miles or anything. We just, literally, we drifted about 2 miles during a good portion of the day. So we're actually gonna ride this full sail tonight. Honestly, navigating out here without an engine is really simple. You have winds that are available to you. When you have them, you use the ones that are best for where you want to go. So if we have a wind that's blowing out of the east, say, and we're trying to go east, well, that day we're going north. And then other days when it's blowing out of any other direction, we go east. And that's pretty much it. We just make our way with what we have when we have it. Now, when we were in the Bahamas and stuff, we collected rainwater all the time, and that's how we kept our tanks full. The deck is still a little salty to collect it yet. I tasted it, and it's not there yet, but it's almost fresh enough. Last time when we crossed the Atlantic from Florida all the way over to the Azores, we're trailing this nasty setup, which is 2 hooks, and I just hook a flying fish in them, trail it behind. We didn't catch anything. And we caught 2 small jacks, which thanks to you guys we know were almaco jacks, because when we pulled them in, we had no idea what this fish was, but it was delicious. So obviously our fishing setup was pitiful. So while we were in the Azores, where people fish a lot, we went and talked to the local fishermen, and we got this nifty lure guy that works at slow speeds and stuff and things. So we got new fishing line, just a new setup. So we're gonna try that, see if we can catch some dinner today. That was incredibly painful to do. That was literally 525 meters, so like 1,600 feet of line. It is now on this. Alright, so we got our feather jig here with its clear leader, and then this rainbow colored fishing line, because apparently the fish have gotten smarter through the years, and our old setup of a steel leader and then white monofilament line, the fish seem to have figured out that that means they're gonna die.
These here are tremosos. We have only ever seen them in the Azores, and we're gonna have them as like a really nice snack food, but in order to make them really good, you have to add garlic. So I'm gonna chop up some garlic here, stick it in here and let it fester, and then we're gonna eat them. I don't know what tremosos are. Some kind of legume, maybe? But if you ever see them on the shelf, I recommend them. They're really, really good.
Alright, no bait or anything, just the lure. In we go for fishing. Or when it catches a fish,
If it catches a fish.
When it catches a fish, it rings really loudly. This is actually average ocean conditions. So the seas are 1/2 meter, so like 1.5 feet, 2 feet high. And the winds are 10 to 15 knots. And it's really nice out here. sun is setting and we're gonna be starting night watch in a moment, but I must say, it's just, I'm so happy. This is just so beautiful out here. It's like so calm. There's just the gentle swell of the ocean. You got clouds way off in the distance and the really red sunset over that way. The reason it's red is because the atmosphere is acting as a lens because we're in a high pressure right now. That's why there's a few clouds. And it's just, all around this is calm. Everything is nice. Like, it's just, this is the best. Our goal is to get into the area of 47 degrees north, 20 degrees west. And then once we hit that point, then we'll turn, go due east, and then make our way north of Portugal and then drop down onto the Iberian Peninsula. So the reason we're doing all that is because there's this pretty strong current. It flows at the low points, it's flowing at a half knot, which doesn't sound like much, but then to fight that half knot, that means that you have to turn slightly into it. And then you're going in the trade winds. So now you're going upwind and up current. So it just becomes really nasty. We're not going to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to come way above all that and then just swoop down and pop into Porto. Now our waypoint of 47 north, 20 west, that's not a point that we have to hit. That's just looking at the pilot charts, which are the average weather conditions for the Atlantic during the month of June, which is now, and looking at just the weather maps and all. That area tends to be a good point to catch the westerlies, to ride the top of the Azores high and then fall down onto the Iberian Peninsula. So it's not a set in stone type plan, it's just a general guidance of, hey, that's a good way to go. And it actually is, like, this is some smooth sailing we're having, and we're like straight on course for that point. It's nice when things go kind of as planned and match up with what you've been researching.
It is beautiful to see the sunsets. It's still one of the best things about cruising. I spent most of my day today making videos. What's great about having all this time on my hands is I can sit down, hunker down, and make a bunch of videos so that I'm not always trying to play catch up.
Good morning, everyone. So last night was kind of interesting. Our stern light stopped working. Again. Yeah, like how many times has it been?
Like 3.
Yeah, like since we left Florida to here, I've fixed it like 3 times. Now it's LED, so it's not that the bulb burns out or anything. It's that the wires to it are so thin, they're like the size of hairs, and they just corrode and at nothing. They're gone.
You'd think the manufacturer would have thought that through. Like, it's for a boat.
Yeah. So I get it. You know, it's LED, it has like 0 amp draw, so it needs no wires to it. But it's a boat, so build in some corrosion resistance to it. And they're not even tinned copper wires. They're just regular copper. So that's the problem. When I'm trying to strip it, way up in the wire, it's already corroded and broken, and the whole thing just breaks off. I'm like losing chunks. So it finally got to the point where it's actually too short for me to try and splice in. And I know you guys have told me that you can always solder on more wire and all that. This is on the back of a stern of a boat that's pitching around in seas in 20 knots of wind. Like, nope. So last night we just ran our tricolor light because it has a white to the stern. And then I thought, hey, let's just set up a battery backup because Maddie asked if we had any other options because I was very frustrated on the stern trying to splice these wires together. And we do! So this guy I had as a spare anchor light in case my batteries would die back when I had bulbs. And yeah, so it's battery powered LED, and I'm just gonna put it on the stern. It's gonna be a little wider than the appropriate stern light angle, but better to have a stern light, yeah.
Now we're gonna attempt fishing again.
I want to catch a fish. Nibble, nibble. So, obviously you guys know that we suck at fishing because we've caught 2 fish in 2 years. So when we went back this time, I did a lot of YouTube research and then reading on the internet and forums and all that mess. And I've found some very mixed suggestions on how to catch fish. Some said have the lure trailing behind your boat at about 6 knots, which is actually our speed right now, and have it on the second wave behind you, because apparently that's where fish like to be. The other one was have it so far away they don't even know the boat's around. So we tried that one yesterday and nothing happened. So
morning's breakfast. I'm boiling water to make poached eggs, and I've got the last of our imperio bread here with fig jam on which the poached eggs will rest before they are devoured by us.
And since that's the last of our bread, I'm making some new bread right now. So we're gonna try and make flatbreads and then make pizza.
This is something we have never tried before.
We've never made flatbread, never made pizza, never made bread in a sun oven.
We'll see how it goes.
Yep.
Go this fast. It's awesome.
Well, we moved inside because a low approached. The sun went away. The sun oven did not get hot, so I took the reflectors off because they're big and it's really windy today. So I thought, oh, it'll still heat up. Apparently it will heat up, but just takes a lot longer. But then with the clouds covering, it wasn't going to happen. So we moved our little pizza dish to our inside oven. It's looking really good, but the seas are getting pretty nasty.
I'm in my cave of nausea and sadness.
Yeah. So we're glad we have the alcohol oven inside for days like this, so we can still make our pizza. I'm so excited for pizza. Okay, so we do really need to get a baking sheet for this. because it kind of ran a little, but it looks really delicious. It like drooped off over there.
It's cut?
It's cut.
Oh boy. Oh, wow. It's huge. Oh.
So this is actually the first thing we've baked, like of baking food. The other one was we roasted some veggies, which that was really delicious, by the way.
We made pizza, and it worked.
This is just so delicious. Mm.
It's a rough day. Okay. And we ended up getting a huge boarding wave that came straight through the companionway and onto my head.
Thankfully, that horrible weather we had today has subsided. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends.
And if you'd like to follow our journey in real time on a map, receive postcards from our ports of call, and message us directly to the boat, you can go ahead and become a patron using the link in the description down below.